Oly Sasquatch back again, still down here at the Cispus River. It's Saturday morning, about 10 o'clock. I was walking in on this trail up above the camp. There's a little arch right there. And it's an old road that runs along the river here. And as you can see, it's pretty clear. I mean, there's some small saplings growing, but regardless, the trail is clear. About halfway down, try to turn around slow. The trail starts to get a little overgrown isn't the word, but you start to see logs and stuff going this way and that across the road. I'm not sure what the relevance of this is, but there's a stick leaning up against the tree, and then for whatever reason this little stick is just sitting there stuck in the ground. Some sort of a trail marker, or maybe they marked the game trails. There is a trail right here that goes right off to the river. Here, I'll show you. There's actually, looks like a deer has been through here. The Cispus River in the Gifford-Pinchot National Forest is absolutely beautiful. I'll always tell you where I am because it doesn't matter where you go. Sasquatch is there. And you can always find sticks in the woods no matter what, even in your neighborhood. And to be honest, I'd have to thank Utah Sasquatch for that. I watched his videos and he's the one that made me just go, hey, I'm gonna go look out right here, right next to a playground or off of a trail. And I was floored, to tell you the truth. So thanks to Utah Sasquatch for that. Anyways, here's a view of the Cispus River through the trees. Kind of hard to see. Let me get back on the trail. Alright, so back on the trail. I've been down here before. The last time I camped, it was snowing. And the further in you go, the more breaks and things you see. And I only went so far because, I mean, you can see. I mean, compare this. I'm going to turn around 180 degrees to that. And back one more time. And this is right at the first break. It starts to get a little crazy. Not crazy like Colorado Bigfoot teepees, but just the fact that it would appear that they want it to be a little more difficult to go this way. And I never went too far back last time because it was snowing. So this time I'm going to go further back, see what's going on. I've always considered myself open-minded and certainly willing to learn. Look at the size of this stump. That is so beautiful. And I was out riding around on my little Honda 80 on 200 and some odd acres behind a local elementary school where I live before they developed it and tore all the, that's a whole nother story. And I was tracking deer for early bow and seeing what was going on, and I was riding around on my little 80 taking pictures with my phone of all these tracks. And I go home and my wife humors me and lets me share my pictures with her. And I came home one day and I'd been tracking this big buck. And I came home, I was so excited. I'm like, honey, look at this picture, big buck, big buck. And she goes, I don't see any tracks. And I'm like, bullshit, let me see my phone. I'm like, look, it's right. I'm like, holy moly, what the hell is that? And she says, I don't know. Doesn't look like a deer track. And I'm like, holy shit, that's a Sasquatch, it's a Bigfoot. And it was on since then. I got to get around this tree. Now that is an amazing tree, and it's a double. So yeah, anyways, after that I found that track, or my wife pointed out that it didn't look like a deer track. Look at this as well. That's a big cedar. Excuse me, pine. So yeah, after my wife pointed out that deer, the track, and we realized what I had got a picture of, what we felt we had a picture of, which it was. That's amazing. It came from right there. I go out, and when I'm looking for deer sign and other wildlife, I find Sasquatch tracks and impressions all over the place, and I take a lot of pictures of them, and to me it's real exciting. And I've always considered it, I never really thought of any of that mystical stuff, or the whatever you want to call it. You know, I'm looking for tracks, I'm looking for physical signs. I hunt, I like to fish. You show me a track, I say, hey, there it is. But again, open to anything for the most part. And yeah, so I just found myself looking for a sign, and I found it all over the place. And then I started seeing, after watching Utah Sasquatch, and I saw Colorado Bigfoot. This is the Pacific Northwest, and they do things a little more discreetly here, on a smaller scale. Not that they're smaller physically, but the things they do blend in a lot better. But then I started seeing sticks in the woods. My wife and I started going out and looking for them, and I still tell her not every stick in the woods is Sasquatch, obviously, but I'll be damned if a lot of them ain't. So that's kind of where it started. A big buck track that wasn't, and a couple YouTube videos, and sticks in the woods. So that's kind of how it started, I guess. I'm rambling. I'm gonna keep walking. So beautiful. I followed that trail. I'm still on the river, just off the old road, and I found this stuff here. Now this is one too many trees, in my humble opinion, to be uprooted and laying on the ground. Now I'll give you the natural process, etc., but there's no rhyme or reason to the way that these have fallen. I mean, direction wise. Hopefully you can see that. I'm no high-tech camera dude. This is just me and my phone. And you'll probably never see me. You'll just hear my voice. Never really wanted to be on the internet or any other stuff like that. I'd rather be out here walking around, but this stuff is so amazing. And Sasquatch, in my opinion, is as real as the goddamn rain in Washington State or anything else. Now, everyone has their own comfort level and their own beliefs, and I'm not here to push anything one way or the other. Folks believe what they want to believe. It's not my job or my place to change anybody's mind. I just want to share what I see while I'm out in the woods where I love to be. So I don't know, this is kind of a crazy place. I'm going to walk around here a little bit more. Look at this. Oh yeah. So hold on. Here's the stump, or where it's been rooted. Looks like recently. And it just happens to bend around right through there. It splits the tree and the stump perfectly. So again, the wind, or I'd say Sasquatch. I'm going to keep moving. I'm standing on a log, and I'm too close. But here's another one of those crazy sticks leaned up on a tree. There's some amazing old growth in here. That was one of Gifford Pinchot's ideas about forests. You can look that up and read about it yourself. Look at that one's huge. I'm not going to keep going in here. I want to get back out towards the water. But yeah. Shortly after, I believe it was the second year, late deer season, after I found my first track, which my wife so graciously pointed out that was not a buck. It was late fall, late bow, cold as hell that winter, freezing my little butt off, sitting all day long. And in hindsight, or retrospect, there was quite a few things that I wasn't paying attention to, or noticed, but didn't notice at the same time. The whole day I kept turning around. I sat in the same spot all day long. It's a good spot. But nothing was coming in, and it was awfully quiet, to tell you the truth. Sat there all day long, and I felt like I was being watched, and it was driving me nuts. And I kept rolling over onto my knees with my bow, feeling like a little kid, wanting one hand and in the other, right? Hoping a deer. But I knew something. I just felt like something was watching me. I got tired of turning around, so I quit doing it. All day long I didn't hear nothing, didn't see nothing, and it was so quiet. Again, retrospect, hindsight. I stayed past sunset. It was dark when I was walking out. And I came down the trail into this little valley, if you want to call it that. About 150 yards from where I'd been sitting all day long. And I got stopped dead in my tracks by the craziest man. It freaks me out to this day. It was like a man animal. You couldn't even describe it, but it was the loudest. And I stopped dead in my tracks. It was so loud, it vibrated right through me, and I'm thinking, what in the fuck, what in the frick? I snapped my head around to the sound, and I had a beeline to right where I was sitting. Whatever was watching me all day long had moved down into my position and screamed at me and let me know, apparently, that it was a good time to leave. And to be honest, part of me wanted to run right back up there, and the other part of me said, I'm good. I'm gonna go ahead and walk on out of here. So I walked out as quietly as I walked in that evening, but I never heard nothing like that. So first track, and about a year and a few months later, I got screamed at. And that's something. I'm telling you what, if you've never heard a Sasquatch scream, and this wasn't no female cougar in heat or any other crap like that, when you hear it, you know, and that's just the way it is. One of those things. I've had a lot of other experiences since then, and I consider myself fortunate. I'm humbled and I'm grateful, but I consider myself prudent and cautious, as a fella should be when you're out in the woods, and I have the utmost respect for all of it. How could you not? Look around. I'm gonna cross a log. There's a log somewhere. Oh, back over there. See that island up there? I'm gonna go over there in a little while. There's some stuff over there I'll show you. But for now, that's 15 minutes of me babbling. It's a beautiful Saturday morning. Oly Sasquatch out.